Hi everybody and welcome to SA Rugby Magazine's look at round 4 of the Super Rugby. Big shout out to Bruce Pockenpool, who's unsubscribed from our channel due to, what did he say?
Insanity.
Your reasons due to insanity.
And mental health issues.
Mental health issues, that was exactly. So a big shout out to him. Sorry to hear in such a bad way, but neither one of us are psychologists. So you're probably good to unsubscribe. Apparently we're too biased towards the Stormers, so it's lucky he's unsubscribed again because I'll probably be backing them this week again.
So are you denying that you're biased to the Stormers?
Well, they're 3-0.
I'm unequivocally biased towards
Don't worry,
a winning team.
I've got some stats that we're going to run through shortly, and I could change your opinion
Who
on that.
wrote those for you?
I stole them off the internet.
There you go. Yeah, just like Zuckerberg. Let's get into it. Crusaders versus Highlanders. The bookies have them at 16.5 points handicap, which means that if you bet on the Crusaders, they've got to win by 17 or more. And if you bet on the Highlanders, they can't lose, they can only lose by 17 or less. They can't lose by 17. It's the same thing. But let's look at from a Super Brew. Let's give a prediction on that game. Mark?
Crusaders by 12. I think the Highlanders will cover that spread. It's that Southern derby. I mean, Crusaders have been good. They came back and pumped the Blues. Highlanders got a win many thought they shouldn't have got against the Brumbies and were poor against the Sharks. But it's like the leveler there is that they both come from the same region and there's that kind of derby element. But comfortable win for the Crusaders.
Okay. James?
Sure, that's a mouthful, mate.
Well, I also do my research, James. I just don't have to come in here with a lot of papers.
Okay, no comment.
James, just turn the other cheek. Turn the other cheek.
Turn the other way. It's something I battled with my whole life.
Well, we've got rotating chairs now, so we knew it was getting pretty feisty.
So yeah, I would go with Crusaders by 15. They are certainly dominant, although they had a slight hiccup against the Chiefs. The Highlanders have not been impressive in any way or form whatsoever. So yeah, I'd go Crusaders by 15.
Yeah, I'm going to go Crusaders by 20. I think they're going to pump them. Not much to say. Rebuilding year for the Highlanders. Crusaders had a bit of a hiccup against the Chiefs, but then again the Chiefs were good. Yeah. Chiefs played well, had a strong team, and it was away from home. So pretty simple to me. Rebel Sharks. Now this betting was even money, both teams at the beginning of the week. But then Kerwin Bosch is back in the lineup and the lines moved to -2.5 on the Sharks. What do you guys think about that game?
Well, they're playing at an AFL stadium outside of Melbourne, so I don't think you're going to get many people there. The Rebels are poor. They got the win against the Tars. With Bosch back, significant 10 points to the Sharks, and a South African referee has been flown in to referee that game.
So would you say the Sharks to win because there's going to be less bums on seat?
Sharks to win because there'll be no atmosphere there. South African referee, and as we know, when a South African referee referees our guys, we get a lot of penalties. So yeah, I think Sharks will win comfortably.
They certainly looked in the first half last week very impressive, and with Bosch back, I'm going to have to agree, but I'm not betting on the Sharks. They're one of those teams, if I bet for them, they lose, and if I bet against them, they win. So for Shark fans out there that want to keep their sanity, I won't be laying any money. But I don't know actually. Well, I'm talking bollocks because the Rebels.
What's impressed me?
I'm going to call a draw on this game.
A draw?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'd go for the Sharks. What's impressed me really with them is they have an ability to create tries, scoring opportunities out of very little. You kick the ball downfield to them. All of a sudden, they turn in. They interlinking backs and forwards and creating try scoring opportunities. And they play off the back foot, which they count incredibly well as well by scoring tries. Their pack at times for me is a bit young, a bit vulnerable. Where they have an ability to be dominated at scrum time. Lineouts tend to be a bit average, but I've said from the beginning that it's probably one of the better backlines in the competition, in my opinion, and they've shown that they certainly can score tries. So I'll definitely go with them and be loyal to South African teams.
Oh, okay.
Why do you have to bring loyalty into a South African team?
Well, I can always bring passion into it.
Are you just going with them because they're better?
Well, I'll get to the Stormers later, then there'll be no loyalty, my brother. I'm ready. I've warmed up the whole morning for this.
I can attest to James has been feisty all morning.
And Mark's not helping that either.
What injuries are the Sharks carrying right now?
Well, they've lost. I think, I don't know if they'll announce the squad on Thursday, but Mpimpi had the concussion test and he failed it. Buddha Chamberlain had the concussion test, failed it. So they may be up because of that. But I think otherwise they pretty much feel good to go.
Yeah, the Rebels are just, I don't know what to expect from them. I mean, on paper, they should be a decent side. I'm going to go Rebels 1 point. I'm not going to pick a draw. Sorry, guys. Chiefs, Brumbies. Mumps rampant in the Brumbies camp.
The Aussies, they've always got an excuse. They haven't even got on the plane and they got mumps or there's an illness or, the Brumbies are going to take a pump in there.
Yeah. Look, Australian rugby is upside down at the moment, in all ways and form, But
they haven't won in New Zealand since 2015. And it's not going to change on the weekend.
No, but what's the deficit of the beating that's going to be?
15 points to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Minimum. 15, 20. I'd even go as high as 20.
I might even go as high as 25.
Wow, okay. Well, that says it all. Brumbies to get pumped.
Moving along.
Again.
And then a game that no one wants to watch, no one wants to referee, the Reds versus the Sunwolves.
These are hard games, Kevin. On the
I don't think we're doing enough to get Bruce back to subscribe, but Mark, what do you think of Reds, the Sunwolves?
Look, the Reds, I thought pre-season could offer a little bit more than we've seen. Because on paper, there's some good players there, and Brad Thorne's not a bad coach. And the Sunwolves are actually playing better than I thought they ever would, with that mix of South African, Kiwi, and Australian in it. But in Brisbane, I think the Reds should take that by a score, 7 points.
So the bookies have got minus 14.5. That's a big handicap to cover, huh?
Yeah, I think the Sunwolves are better than that, but I don't think they're good enough to beat the Reds in Brisbane.
I'm going to go Sunwolves. There we go. Take that, sports fans. I'm going to go Sunwolves by 7.
Yeah, no, okay. Reds, Sunwolves. To me, the Reds are the better of the worst of these two bad teams. So I'm going to go with the Reds by 9. Yeah. But I don't think they'll cover 14.5. Oh, God, I hate to even say this next game. Okay, up next, Stormers versus Jaguars. Bruce, tune out. This is going to be painful for you from my point of view. Maybe from Mark's.
Definitely.
James is just going to be painful because he's going to have an opinion.
Well, I'm sure when Mark opens his mouth, Mr. Porkenpool's going to be very offended.
Mr. Porkenpool's already left the show. I want to say to Dobbo, shout out, and to the Stormers. Unashamedly going with the team 3-0 at Newlands. And you stay in Cape Town. You also need to bear that in mind there. So I've got the Stormers to win.
I'm branding my car Lions to drive around with.
Oh, jeez.
What a person you are.
That's sad, eh?
Okay, let's get to the facts, because I've got a lot of nuts and bolts to discuss.
Stormers to win. I think they got the pack that can nullify the Jaguares. Good side, the Jaguares. Last time they'll ever play them at Newlands. And
apparently.
I've got them to win. Spoke to Dobbo in the week, as you know I do. Yeah. And he assured me that it's going to be a lot better.
Did you get a little envelope?
Oh, I got a cuddle as well. Yeah. And I did say to him, I don't know whether he wanted to laugh or cry at the end of the last week's game.
He didn't look happy, eh?
He wasn't happy. He just said at 26-15, how do you blow it? And then how do you win it? Credit for the way they came back and they won it. But I do think you're going to see a far better Stormers performance. Feet back on the ground, back to basics. And I think they'll beat the Jaguars. And let's not forget, Jaguares, Cape Town, Mavericks, eat meat.
Yeah. Okay. So you say dominance. I mean, how's the Stormers dominated when, according to you, the Lions is a cuck team, but they dominated possession and territory in the 60%. So
what was the end result?
So if you now look at what you're saying is a cuck Argentinian side, the Jaguars, I'm not even going to call them the Jaguares. I mean, that's just painful. Jaguars, my bro. Jaguars. Jaguares. So yeah, so if you look at possession and territory, the Lions dominated that aspect of play last week. And if you look at against the Bulls and the Stormers, the Bulls also dominated those two aspects of the game. But the Stormers were able to get away with winning.
Brilliant.
You look at that.
What an analysis.
No, but what I'm saying, guys, actually, my opinion, I think the Stormers are regressing. They're going backwards. And I can tell you now, if they carry on playing the way they're playing with having limited possession and limited territory, and you have a team that can turn those aspects into points, they're going to land up losing.
Well, let me ask you this, James. With a guy like Herschel Yankees out and a guy like Coetzee out, who to me, Yankees is a game changer. He's a game winner, sees the game 2 steps ahead of everybody else at that position. And then you've got an immense talent in the Lucies in Coetzee. Don't you think that they're going to have, you say they're going backwards, but I think they were carrying a lot of injuries last week. And this week, those two lads are playing.
Okay, granted, let's give them the benefit of the doubt there as well. But yes, the reality is that they're not performing in those two aspects. And even if you go look in terms of the tackles, they made 143 tackles versus 90 of the Lions. Now, if you have another team that you can't tackle week in and week out and be under the cosh. Eventually you're going to break. You're going to land up with injuries, and you're going to have a team that's going to have more running meters with a possession, and they're going to turn those running meters into try scoring opportunities. And that's the vulnerability that the Stormers are going to start facing. You know, they dominated the Hurricanes in those aspects, and they won convincingly. They struggled against the Bulls, which is also, in my opinion, a cuck team. You say the Lions are a cuck team, but they ran them close. You know, so I think it's going to be. They have got a lot of injuries, so let's take that into account. But I think they're vulnerable at the moment.
I just wonder for our international viewers, just the word cuck means shite. Just means substandard and not quite up to scratch. But you do say, how good are the Stormers really then? Dominated by the Bulls, went off the boil for 25 minutes against the Hurricanes, looked shocking most of the time against the Lions. To me, the quality of that side is that they got 3 wins, and let's not take that away from them. 3 from 3. I thought they were very poor up north. I thought that they had won that game before they even got on a plane.
So I'll show you a WhatsApp you sent to me, where you said that they've dropped in expectations by like 30%.
Yes.
So what are you actually saying now?
That they'll win by a score, not by 20 points against the Jaguares.
No, look, guys, the Stormers are the better team in the South African Conference. We picked
them, didn't we?
I'll stick by that.
But
I am saying that you know, from the start of the season where they had all these Springboks present, they don't have that anymore. And I think in the Stormers pack, there's certain guys that aren't also really performing. They have shown vulnerability at scrum time. Against the Bulls.
I was amazed at
they showed vulnerability also against the Lions. But yes, they're coming away with the wins. But I'm just saying, eventually you can't carry on tackling almost twice as many times as your opponent. And if you don't have the ball, you can't score tries. Okay,
unless you intercept.
Yeah, well, there we go, which is what happened.
Well, what are the odds? What are the odds, Kev, on the game?
These minus 5.5 bookies have got the Stormers favoured by minus 5.5.
So I think that's a good spread for the form of both teams. I've got the Stormers to win by a little bit more than that, 7 to 10 points.
James, what do you?
I would
saying all this crap now.
No, look, I would go with the Stormers by 5 points, but I can tell you now, guys, if they have the dips that they've shown of late, the Jaguars will beat them. I can tell you that now. And if they do beat them, the Jaguars will beat them by 3 points. But I can tell you now, the Jaguars have a lot more efficiency in terms of finishing. They've got a very powerful midfield, and they've got a solid pack of forwards that are good on the drive, good in the line-out, and good at scrum time.
But I found them last week. You know, there was two. I hate to coin a phrase, but game of 2 halves against the Reds. Was it they played the Reds?
Yeah.
In the first half, they looked like a high school team.
Yes.
The Reds dominated them. They were embarrassing. But then they came out and put 28 points or 31 points on the Reds in the second half. So it depends on which team shows up or what tongue lashing they get from their coach. Because I don't see the Jaguares, I don't see them fronting up to the Stormers forwards. And if the Stormers play basic error-free rugby, they'll win by 10 or more.
I just want to ask James this, because this show is about being definitive, okay?
Please do.
So I could say if we win the scrums, if we catch up passes, but if we don't. So you've said the Stormers will win if they do that, and the Jaguares will win if they do that. I need to know, who do you think will win the game? In your heart?
Well, based on performance trend, I would say that the Jaguars by 3 points.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay.
I'd say the Stormers.
He's calling.
Unashamedly pro and biased.
I think Bruce has tugged at your heartstrings.
Welcome back, Brucey, my buddy.
My name is James.
So I'm going to go Stormers by 10 or more. We got out of jail last weekend. To me there was two big problems with the Stormers last week. Jamie Roberts had a shocker.
He looked a yard off the pace, eh?
Well,
Why are you coining my phrases? Yeah, I said that off camera. Why are you stealing my thunder?
Look, I mean, in fairness to him, he was playing at altitude. I think Dobbo should have rested him and kept him fresh for the Jaguars because, I mean, he's 34. Of course, he's going to be half a pace. Half a
He'll
yard
be better
off the
this
pace.
weekend.
He'll be better this weekend.
It was maybe his engagement cake that slowed him up a bit.
The Stormers, to me, a couple knock-ons by Jamie, one in defence which led to a try, and one in attack. I think we're 20 metres out, where the Stormers were on the front foot, had great possession, and just schoolboy errors.
But you said it earlier in the week. The key, Herschel Yankees not being there, we see just how valuable it is to that Stormer setup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Herschel is a game changer, and I've said that previously that you need players that can turn a game on its head. Yeah. They do. But at the same token, you can't always rely on Herschel Yankees to perform. You can't always, like I say, one bird doesn't bring a swallow. Mark. one swallow doesn't bring a summer. Sorry, fuck that up.
That's brilliant. That also saw that.
But what I'm saying, one swallow doesn't bring a summer. So we can't always just rely on the individual brilliance of a youngster to help the Stormers win. He loves it that I fucked up.
All right.
It's actually one swallow doesn't make a summer. No. Nobody brings a summer.
One swallow doesn't get you married.
Go gently into that night, James. Okay. Thanks for the opinion, guys. I really appreciate it. Bulls, Blues.
Yeah, just
to...
Loftus, in the heart of South African rugby at the Cathedral.
The Cathedral.
Daar's hy.
Ja.
Now I'd go for the Bulls to beat the Blues.
Manne, hier kom dit in.
Hier kom 'n blou machine.
Hoe was die naweek?
Baie goed.
Goed.
Vir die manne van die bulle, gaan
Don't
dit baie beter wees hierdie naweek. 15 punte vir die bulle.
Ja.
15 points.
I got that. Really?
I think the Bulls are so overrated, and they're going to get on the road.
The Bulls?
I mean, the Blues. They're going to get on the road. They're going to struggle. And
Sis, you must bring your notes and you get things right.
15 points for the home team, the Bully Bulls, to beat them.
Wow.
I think they're ready. They've got 3 Springboks back. And I don't agree with James's assertion. I do think the Lions are below par. They're a young side. They've got some retreaded Springboks, oldies back. I don't think the Bulls are a cuck side. I think they're a fairly decent side.
Awesome.
And I think they showed how decent they can be against the Stormers. And it's a mark of how good the Stormers are that they kept them scoreless. I think they'll win. They'll win comfortably at Loftus. How's that?
That was a mouthful. James?
Look, I like the Bulls. I like their style of play. I think they have been a bit unlucky in the start of the campaign.
Unlucky in what way?
Nah, just
In terms of who they played?
no. I mean, they are a good team. They are a good team. Yeah. And yes, they did statistically dominate the Stormers, and they weren't able to turn it into points. Okay.
Great defensive effort by the Stormers.
Yeah. Which came undone against the Lions eventually. So, you know, it shows you
They
can't-
still won.
Yeah.
So I hate to be biased, but
Sorry, Bruce.
Yeah.
sorry, Bert.
So now I think the Bulls by 15. I'm really hoping for a nice win for the Bulls. I think they deserve it.
I have to buck the trend here and go with the Bulls. No, I like the Blues. Not much to do down in Pretoria except for look at trees. So there's no temptations down there. No Russian ballet. And I think that the Bulls aren't that good. And I picked them to finish in the bottom. Is it the Lions or the Bulls I picked to finish the bottom?
I think you.
I think we were consistent Lions.
Yeah, okay. Well, I said the Bulls would finish fourth. So I'm going to pick the Blues by 3.
Okay, that should be an interesting one. Blues can't play at home now. They got to travel and win.
Yeah, now we've lost another subscriber, Yanni. Yanni de Muren. Yanni de Muren. He's gone.
I didn't even know I had a fan out there.
Yeah.
So,
Now we're going to be seen as anti-Bulls as well.
Yeah, I'm not anti-Bulls. I love the Bulls. But if I have to make a call on my Super Brew, which I do, I have to pick the Blues by 3. And I'll pick the What are you picking?
No, the Bulls.
By how many?
15.
And you're 15.
15 as well, yeah.
Wow.
Share each other's notes. Nice.
Okay. Well, that's a wrap. And thanks everybody. And sorry for all the
Mistakes.
Yeah. Well, thanks for all the mistakes. And see you next week.